Alright, hello. Is this Mr. Gambit here with a new stream? And in this stream, I'm gonna be going over the event week for this week in Grand Theft Auto Online. Though to be honest, in particular for this event, it's not really much of a week, it's more kind of like an event weekend in a way. And that's because it released on Thursday as per usual, and then Tuesday we'll be coming out with a brand new DLC with the Santos mercenaries there on June 13th, so it basically goes until that. And it started on June 8th, so definitely a bit of a shorter one compared to usual. So starting off here, I want to say this top one I remember is like the same as the last event. Last event I think ended the very same thing with a 20% off hangers, upgrades, modifications. Hanger, I definitely highly recommend the Fort Zancudo locations. LSI does have the spawn convenience of being able to spawn things in the actual airport, I believe, which you do not get with Fort Zancudo, but since you can only choose one, I would definitely just say Fort Zancudo for the low level clearance there. And then, yeah, the accommodations, whatever upgrade in that one, the like spawn at the hangar, and then like the workshop for modding the aircraft, so clearly be a couple of best modifications. As it was kind of a thing from last week, I'm not going to necessarily go into any more specifics than that now. I wanted more details than the last event, certainly. And then there's a couple new things here for this event that were not a thing at all for the last event. Definitely kind of the hugest one I would kind of say this time around would probably be the 2 times rewards here for the VIP work and challenges. But yes, VIP work and challenges, those are like the work and challenges you do in that interaction menu when you're the Secure Serve CEO and whatnot. But yeah, there's definitely quite the nice ones. Some of the better ones in some senses, Headhunter and Sightseer. Wada's payout on double, I believe, is like 40 to like 45, like thousand-ish, like dollars, whatever. Their cooldowns, I think, are only like 5 and 10 minutes, which kind of makes them the most efficient because you can do them more often. There's some pretty good ones for like more like vehicular related ones that they did during the import and like export DLC as well, and that's pretty nice. Like Plowed, for example. Plowed with like the Phantom Wedge, I think is definitely one of the better like vehicular ones. I think Fortified and Velocity are definitely pretty nice, more so like Fortified. Fortified involves like the Armored Boxville. Fun fact, even as of the Drug Wars DLC, the Armored Boxville is actually significantly cheaper as well, so it's not a very like expensive vehicle if you don't have that yet. At least on the trade price, I think it's only like a little over a million, if not like even under 1 million. And that vehicle gives a very damn nice VIP work. If you're in like a solo invite only, I think you can do it by yourself even. And then no like players can go after you. Also more strategies and stuff like some of the VIP works when you get into the actual game can explain them a bit better kind of, but yeah. Fortified you do have to wait like a whole like 10-minute timer unfortunately, and there's no way to like reduce it. But if you go into like underground areas like in the sewers, like the sewer areas there's like a certain like hole in like a highway area that you can go into pretty easily. Going to those like sewers makes it where the like AI enemies cannot really go after you really. So that's some strategies with Fortified. Pod I think is very straightforward. Pod and that Phantom Wedge one, you just basically follow those objectives. I don't know if there's much of a shortcut way to do that, to be honest. But yeah, Pod I think is like 60,000 on double, which is pretty crazy. Fortified is like $70,000 on double. And there's the Phantom Wedge Plowed one that is a 1 hour cooldown. Fortified I think is actually like a 30 to 45 minute cooldown. And then, yes, velocity is a very similar one to fortify, that involves the rocket voltic, except you kind of have to be at like a certain speed in the vehicle. You don't like slow down in the vehicle. My strategy for velocity involving like the rocket voltic, at least for solo strategy, is I like to start at the like casino. I like to start at the casino, go down that highway, and then I like to. I don't use the boost unless I really have to, and I basically go from there, and then I'm kind of end up in like the bottom, like right part of the map, where there's like a bridge that crosses over like the docks and stuff, I believe. It's going to be more clear kind of what I'm talking about there, maybe when I go into the game, if I do that. I'm trying to think if there's any other good vehicular ones. And I think velocity also pays 70,000. I believe if you actually do have like groups of people, you can even like reduce the time on velocity as well. Whereas fortified, I think, is permanently 10 minutes you have to wait. Yeah, I believe velocity panel is like 70,000 as well. I don't want to say it's like 30, I think more so maybe like 45-minute cooldown, not necessarily an hour per se. Like with Cloud, I believe. I think the one with the Wastelander, like Transporter, whatever, I think is a pretty nice one as well, actually. Transporter, that's the one with like the Wastelander. You basically deliver a vehicle on the Wastelander over to a destination. And yeah, you can do invite only, so you would only have like AI like enemies to worry about, and AI enemies don't really do much at all, really. And AI enemies don't really do much at all, so pretty easy. And yeah, sorry, but for being shit, gun did it. And then yeah, I think the as for the last like special vehicle like VIP works, I think would be kind of good. I think that would go to the ramp buggy. I think the ramp buggy VIP work is definitely a pretty nice one if you can do it. The problem with that one though is I think you need other players in order to do the ramp up. So it's not as good for like solo, like lone wolf, like invite only lobbies as those other ones are that I mentioned earlier for the vehicular ones, for like import export DLC. But yes, ramped up. When ramped up first came out, you basically had to. When ramped up first came out, you basically had to ramp up motorcycles. You basically had to like ramp up motorcycles with your ramp buggy. But if you think about it, there's actually a couple motorcycles in the game that you actually don't really need the help of the ramp buggy to get on top of like rooftops. So with the regular oppressor, the death bike, with the regular oppressor, the oppressor Mark II, and the death bike, ramped up actually becomes significantly easier as of like 2017, 2018, and onwards compared to like initially in like 2016. So ramped up has some pretty nice cheese strategies of certain motorcycles that can be done. More so with the oppressors or the death bike, I would argue, because some of those rooftops to pick up those packages could probably be quite tall rooftops, and the death bike won't be the most efficient for all of those. So yeah, I think those are the few that are good for the like import and export ones. The ones I think aren't very good are the amphibious vehicle ones, the technical aqua one, which I think technical aqua even requires multiple players. And then the Blazer Aqua one, you might be able to even do that one solo and invite only and stuff. But that one, I think you have to collect like packages on like land and sea. Sure, the Blazer Aqua is so much speedier than the technical Aqua, but there's just so many better other choices at this rate that I mentioned for the vehicle-related ones. And then, yeah, last one that I didn't mention for the vehicle ones is like the Ruiner 2000 one. That one, you only get like 20-ish, like 1,000, I think, on like double money, which is not great at all when you destroy like all 10 vehicles and stuff like that, or like 15 vehicles, however much there is. It's more of an anti-griefing tool. People really tend to use it for anti-griefing usually, and probably the other way around as well. It's not really like for money making per se, like a lot of those other ones kind of are. And then, yeah. Piracy prevention can be a kind of a nice one as well if you're like in an invite only with you and like a friend or something. If you, like your friend doesn't mind like letting you win a piracy prevention pretty easily, and then that could be like easy 30,000 for like 10-ish minutes or something. 30,000 can even be the regular money I'm thinking about now. It could maybe like 60,000, you know, like double money. And yeah, if there's any cooldowns I kind of forgot to mention, I think it was maybe for Transporter, the Wastelander one. That one I think is like a 30-minute cooldown, which I think is kind of like the least cooldown for vehicular VIP work. Piracy Prevention, I kind of forget. That one might be like an hour cooldown. That's the one that involves like the yacht that needs to be owned from like the Executive of Criminal DLC. And yeah, there's other VIP works, but I can't remember them the most on top of my head here. I'll go more in detail with that when I get more in the game though. VIP challenges, on the other hand, quite frankly, VIP challenges really won't be that great. Oh, and if I forgot more things about Transporter, I think I might have forgot like payout and stuff. I think the payout for Transporter is like kind of around the amounts of Headhunter sites here, but it's got like longer cooldown and stuff, I believe. So not too much reason to choose over those though. But could still be a nice third option that pays that kind of good payout if you need to wait for Headhunter and States here at the same time or something. And you're trying to stick to good VIP works with good cooldowns as well. But yeah, so I'm trying to think of anything else really here. I'm trying to think for VIP works and stuff I might have kind of forgot to mention. Oh, and for ramped up, I don't really know what that cooldown is. Like I said, no one requires like other people to play. I'm not really a like group player usually, no. But anyway, as I was kind of saying earlier before I went to stuff, I kind of think I forgot. VIP challenges, they're all right, they're okay, I guess, but no real reason to do the challenges over the work. The work is pretty much always going to be better. The problem with VIP challenges is some people earn more money than other people, and it depends on how good people do on the challenges. Since you have challenges, you're kind of competing against your organization in a way. So there can only be like one true winner. Now, of course, you can like split cash and stuff, make it like more fair and stuff when you do those VIP challenges and stuff, but that's a little anti-fun having to go into a menu to split cash, and again, it's kind of only true purpose of that menu on the interaction menu, I believe. So, there's ones like market manipulation and whatever. That could be like that ATM one. Just like a salvager one or whatever, where you like collect underwater checkpoints and stuff. I think that's pretty good. Most wanted can be a pretty alright one, depending on like the strategy and stuff, I feel. So that's a couple mentions of VIP challenges. I'm not the most familiar with those as compared to work though, since they require multiple players though. But generally the work is basically purely better than challenges usually. But they can be a nice change if you're not the biggest on the VIP work. And then Operation Paper Trail, 2 times my NRP. That is the set of contact missions that was added with the Criminal Enterprise DLC, which was the previous DLC before Los Santos Drug Wars. Yeah, that was the missions involving United Liberty Paper from Grand Theft Auto 4. It's kind of some pretty cool. It was kind of some pretty cool, interesting contact missions for sure. I'll go into more particular missions when I see the names of them and stuff on like the game and whatnot. I could probably say for sure that last one is not going to really be the greatest one to play for this random mission since it has like all the juggernauts and whatnot. Granted, there is actually a stun gun strategy. You can actually use the stun gun on the like juggernauts and it'll actually kind of disable the juggernauts from what I've heard. So you could actually use the stun gun pretty effectively perhaps on that last one, but those are just really tanky enemies. Is it really going to be worth it unless you're really trying to hit the 16 plus minutes for max payout, which isn't really the most worthwhile thing to do on these contact missions. But yeah, I think certain newer contact missions tend to pay like 20. Newer contact missions tend to pay upwards of $23,100 on like normal money. So something like this for double money could maybe get up to like 46, like 47,000 per mission for 16 plus minutes. I think I'm totally thinking here. I haven't done like a dedicated video on those yet or anything. Like I have for other sets of contact missions where I go over them like pretty in depth and stuff, but still. And yeah, as for this stuff here, yeah, as it kind of suggests, just talking about stuff with the next update or the current set of stuff. Following are included for June 7th. They mentioned they extended it to the 12th on Twitter, but they didn't bother to change the date and extend it to the 12th on here, and it's pretty lazy, I feel. Okay. Yeah, the trailer thing was released. I kind of already talked a little, like, few minutes about the trailer in my last, like, video thing I did. By the way, I don't think I'm doing a video on the GTA Plus stuff that came out about, like, the Vinewood, like, car, like, hub area, whatever the hell. I don't know if I want to bring much more attention to be honest. It's probably the craziest thing they've done for Plus subscriptions so far. And I don't mean that in a good way, per se. Basically, it's like an exclusive 9th gen interior, and it's only going to be a thing for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and X and S with a bunch of vehicles, kind of similar to like the Test Track and like your Premium Deluxe, like Motorsport and stuff like that. If I have to just explain it very brief here, I guess they didn't seem to have any here though. Any experience improvements? They just mentioned a couple that they've mentioned since like June 6th or whatever. Or June 6th, I think was the trailer date. I think those were a couple they mentioned when they first mentioned Sanders Mercenaries was coming out. Claiming all destroyed vehicles at once, the description tags, this sort of thing. I did a whole dedicated video to that. I was mostly about that. A few of the first minutes of that video was about this trailer thing with a tiny analysis. Plus, at the end, I forgot to mention about like the thruster apparently was spotted in the Avenger, which was pretty cool. Sounds like the thruster will be able to be stored in the Avenger, which is pretty nice. Yeah, definitely some pretty fun, interesting changes that'll be coming up in the next update. Some not so great for those that are huge on using certain jets that are currently in the game right now. For example, personally, in my opinion, I didn't really feel the explosive hands were the most worrying thing. Failed jets were nowhere near as much of a problem as like the orbital cannon, especially. Orbital cannon is actually getting a nerf, by the way. Maybe even like a couple nerfs. Maybe not the greatest nerfs per se on the orbital cannon. And if there's one thing I have to agree on that did need bouncing at all in this game, it's definitely the orbital cannon, since you can just sit in the interior and kill someone. That's the only thing I feel really needed nerf ever in this game, in my personal opinion. But I feel any ever nerfs people just overly wanting complain about certain, like, dumb things about vehicles and stuff. In my opinion, I feel most of the vehicles didn't really ever need nerfs ever. That's some opinions I want to give on here, kind of. That might have not done on the video. And yeah, I think that one was already in here with this previous time. I think it was mainly just these two. Never new for this section here. Check for any money icons and stuff possibly on any of that. Okay, it doesn't necessarily seem anything with those at all are going on here. Now we'll go into the actual game here, so I can talk about all the rest of the stuff, not on the what's new section, on the benefits section, whatever. Days left. Okay, well, at least they bothered updating there. Didn't bother updating like a little benefits section thing. What's the new section? Whatever. It's kind of pretty funny. The inconsistencies there. But yeah, I kind of forgot to mention title while on the main menu. But yeah, Santo Capra coins delivery is the thing now for the Avenger here. That is kind of the major new addition of the week. There's actually some clothing stuff, I believe, as well, actually, if I remember right. For this last event week of the Los Angeles Drug Wars DLC, and more so weekend, as I kind of mentioned. Even though I know Thursday and Monday aren't like a weekend, I feel it's more for the event weekend than it is like week in terms of like lengthwise. Yeah, once I get out of the helicopter magazine and stuff, I'll probably talk about those time trials and stuff like I usually do. I usually start with that time trial stuff. I'll probably start with all of that. Make my way to all those different showrooms, and then once I get through all the showrooms, that'll be where I talk more about money opportunities and like discounts, like all the remaining stuff, pretty much. Honestly, it could actually maybe be kind of a good idea to actually show off the like Avenger livery, perhaps. Okay, stash house actually in the desert here, so sure, I guess I would do my stash house right now. Might as well at least get one more in before Sandra's mercenaries. Probably got more business stuff than usual still because of these stash houses, which is quite nice. If I do any of that before the next update, which I definitely should, 50 million could be quite nice though. I've been saving like 50 million for the last couple updates, and that's been pretty solid for at least day one. What was on that for that long per se, but oh well, whatever. So if that's not a bad parking spot, it might be actually, since it's more over here, but whatever. I'll just try to dip out the other way anyways. Yeah, they better fix that fucking, like, SMG ammo glitch with that new tactical SMG where, like, I'm probably barely getting used of it, to be fucking honest.
I am sorry, please?
This broken ass fucking game and everything. That 10-year-old ass spaghetti code, at least. Around there.
Get your sorry ass out of here!
Could even more, because it was in development before release, obviously.
You son of a bitch! Find cover! Fuck, I'm out of ammo! Brother down! Get back! You're too low,
Good job, man.
You're more...
Boom! Boom! Yeah, that one was better than anticipated. Of an assault rifle of all things, an interior. Okay, here's the code thing, okay. 212 and 87, definitely looks like. Very good numbers, all pretty close. 212, 87, in that order, exactly, certainly right, definitely, certain. Yes. I was about to say your enemies gonna spawn here, what the fuck? Cause usually they do. I always stand a chance over there, to be honest. Ooh, Acid Lab, okay. I could've used that when I was doing my Acid Lab stream like, recently, but okay. I was definitely really digging the Acid Lab when I went over it, that one stream I did not long ago. And yeah, by the way, I do think I'm gonna be doing one more miscellaneous stream. I don't really feel like covering the fucking Vinewood, like, car club thing, whatever the fuck, though. I don't really want to give attention to that fucking stupid paid subscriptions. That's fucking more cost than fucking PlayStation Plus. If it was like less cost than PlayStation Plus for the regular price, then maybe I wouldn't be so, like, negative against it. Like, if it's more like a $4 subscription or some shit, maybe, but maybe I would be more willing to do stuff like that, but nope. Plus, I don't even feel like I could have really thought of much of what to say on that, honestly. So I'm not doing one over that. But I was just wondering if I haven't made it clear already. Okay, was there something? Oh yeah, I wanted to show off that Avenger livery. I don't know, I'm gonna be showing the clothing and stuff off later, because I mean, there's some clothing to use, yeah, I'll just do it actually with that. So I'll show the livery later if I can, yes, or remember to, whatever. So, time travel stuff this time around. Where's the HSW time trial here? What the fuck? Oh, okay. Yeah, what? I thought I was looking over there, and I thought I didn't notice anything, though. Maybe I thought I was looking there, but I was maybe looking more over here, and I forget. Okay, so regular time trial for the week here is Storm Drain. This one's actually not a very long time trial. I feel it's actually one of the easier time trials in my opinion, honestly. Yeah, Storm Drain, it's literally just from here to like, I think it goes here, I believe. So you pretty much go like one whole length of this Storm Drain essentially. So it's pretty straight heavy, but there's some bits of corners. It's not a very in-depth time trial, I feel, compared to some other ones. But yes, for sure, in my opinion, your easily number one option for time trial typically will be your HSW hardcore drag if you have a 9th gen system, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X or S. HSW hardcore drag. The regular one is already pretty crazy. It's just even crazier than the regular one, obviously. Only HSW motorcycle in the game. Not a whole length of a car. Though you could actually use a car pretty effectively on this one since it's about not to be very much traffic. Alright. HSW supercars. HSW supercars. HSW weaponized ignis. HSW Devastate. HSW NTMT. And HSW Coil Cyclone 2. Weaponized ignis, I don't believe we can actually use in time trials anymore. Used to be able to, but I guess later on they disabled it in time trials just because that's a weapon on it, which is real stupid. Since when you could use the weaponized ignis on the time trials, it would actually disable the weapons. I don't get the point of like disabling it suddenly. Now it's mainly lap time heavy though, which this one wouldn't be too much of an issue. Not having the weaponized ignis as an option for HSW1. HSW Devastate 8. It's pretty top speed heavy on this one, could be pretty nice. HSW Devastate 8 is pretty much your best top speed option, I would say, for the HSW like supercars. HSW NTMT. Fortunately, it's pretty shit lap time. It's only like 20th place lap time for the HSW, which is garbage. That's pretty crazy top speed as well, but Devastate's pretty crazy top speed and some pretty good lap time too. So I feel the newest in GMT HSW is kind of your least worthwhile supercar option for HSW if you are fortunate to be on the 9th system. And yeah, HSW coil cyclone 2. Given it's not a very long like time trial, I feel the cyclone 2 can actually be quite the crazy good one here actually. Because you won't need to worry about not having as great of top speed on an electric HSW vehicle. Electric vehicles, it can be pretty nice for a lifetime. Their acceleration is top class, which is like how quick they get the top speed, but the top speed itself is not very great. And then the other two I mainly recommend for HSW vehicles are up to 2 from like the Criminal Enterprise DLC. And that is the Sterling GT HSW. And then the Vigorous ZX HSW, I believe those are the like couple top speeds in the entire game. If you're on a 9th gen system. I don't think the Drug War ones dethroned it those in terms of like best general top speed, not just for their HSW classes. That should be a good like few HSW options that are great for the 9th gen version of the game for a time trial. That will also cover the vehicle advice for HSW time trial here as well. A little more on that later though. And yeah, for 8th gen on motorcycles, the Nagasaki Shibutaro Electron bike is pretty good for 8th gen. The Western like Power Surge from the latest Santos Drug Wars is a pretty good one with fast acceleration similar to the Coil Cyclone 2. newest motorcycle in the latest update actually is actually the only electric motorcycle in the game, apparently. So I think this is a very great utility with that crazy acceleration. Unlike the electric cars in the game, I think it's still within like top 10 for top speed, even though it's electric as well, which is pretty crazy. Whereas like any electric, like proper car doesn't really even tend to be anywhere near top 10, I believe, for top speed. Maybe aside for like the HSW second 2, and maybe even that latest Virtue from Drug Wars for an electric vehicle as well. And yeah, going back to the Hottail Drag, the HSW one, that one you can run forward with the stick for that best possible speed, as if you're doing a stoppie, if you don't need to forward on the stick for that best possible speed. Next up is your Tarotron bike and the Power Surge. For those couple 8-pin options I mentioned already, you can actually forward or backward on that stick for the best possible speed on the left stick. Or L3, of course, on the PlayStation, yes. And then the regular Hottail Drag is pretty good for 8-gen, as I kind of already suggested. You could even use something that's like budgeted as cheap as the Pegassi Body 801, which is only like a $15,000 motorcycle in the game. Yeah, the Body 801 is a very good budget motorcycle with like your engine upgrades and stuff. With your like engine upgrades and stuff, it's probably not even like a $500,000 vehicle at that point, and it's very damn usable in time trials for the regular ones. Since a lot of those are made during like the 2015 heist update, where Body 801 was kind of like the top dog at that time. That one, you have to lean backward with the stick, I believe, for that best possible speed, as they do for most motorcycles in the game. And then for other like options I want to mention for 8th gen, the Western Reaver from the Contract DLC is a very damn great top speed option for being on the 8th gen version of the game. Even on 9th gen, top speed's actually pretty good for 9th gen as well for the Western Reaver. Since, yeah, there's only one HSW motorcycle after all. Fun fact, from what I've heard, actually the Western Reaver might even be better top speed than the HSW Hottail Drag, which might have more of a lap time focus than a top speed focus. And as I've mentioned, Storm Drain is fuel mostly going to be straight up a little bit of cornering, so that could be a very damn useful one here, actually. But yeah, if you're on 9th gen, I'll probably just use it just to be Hottail Drag for a motorcycle anyways. And kind of my last motorcycle recommendation I want to do is my Botsy Mantis Scout. You could kind of even substitute a little bit for the my Botsy Mantis Scout C, but I don't think that's like good customization for top speed. Mantis Scout C, I don't think it has good performance for top speed from what I've heard now. We had a regular my Botsy Mantis Scout from Capra is coming in a nice option for top speed more so. It'll be pretty good in there. And then for supercars, when it comes to 8th gen, I would say it's pretty much the Trojan Emirates, Benefactor Krieger, and then the Benefactor LM87. And then those would be your like couple good lap time options for 8th gen. And then for your top speed options for supercar, which is like the only other thing I would really recommend, much aside for a motorcycle, I think it's going to be your top couple best classes you could probably use. You can use the regular versions of the NDMT and regular Devastator 8 where you don't have HSW for 8th gen and be pretty successful for top speed, especially on this one, as I mentioned, pretty good. And for a couple that are more so good for 8th gen, the number one top speed for a regular supercar without HSW, I believe, tends to be the P-Fister 811. P-Fister 811 from like the Finance Felony DLC is a pretty good one for top speed apparently. And then the Banshee 900R. Banshee 900R, like the Benny's upgrade version of the Banshee, is a pretty good one. But yes, Banshee 900R for sure. The Benny's upgrade that turns it from like a sport car Banshee to supercar Banshee 900R. That's a very good top speed apparently as well. For car class, for agent more so in particular. And by the way, the last two motorcycles I went over Western Reaver and my Batsy Man just Scout just once you do backward on stick as if you're doing wheelie for the best possible speed, if I did not mention that. Should pretty much be all advice for regular time trial on there. RCB and data time trial this time around is for speed knows. But yeah. I feel this one's honestly one of the more annoying ones since you got like cars and stuff you can kind of deal with. It's not as I feel a lot of them tend to be in pretty remote locations, like the construction site. The construction site ones you don't have to deal with like traffic. Like the cemetery one, you don't deal with traffic. Like the fucking Blanca one, you don't have traffic much. That's for certain vehicle spawns, which isn't as bad. I feel it's kind of the most like direct, like RC Bandito time trial where you have to actually worry about like moving vehicles. But I feel it's honestly one of the harder ones, to be honest. Because of that, there's one little thing I think I can mention much about this. Besides for that, you just gotta know how to like corner on it and whatnot. The main thing with these is just knowing how to corner on it, since you can only use the one RC Bandito. You can't use an alternative like the Invading Pursuit Tank, and you can't use like the RC vehicles from like contract DLC and onwards. If you do like the remote control unit, you cannot use those, obviously. They're very uninteresting in my opinion. For only like 100,000, they're not really too worth the time, I feel. Personally. For HSW Tantra, I pretty much mentioned all the like few to several vehicles I usually tend to recommend for these. But yes, as you may notice on this one compared to the other ones, you may notice there's no part-time at all. And that's because part-times for HSW Tantra just depend on like either the vehicle you use for a particular model or it's more like a class thing. I think there's like 3 HSW classes in the game when you do like the HSW races, so I want to say it's something like that determines your part-time. So what that basically means is you can actually use any HSW vehicle you want and still be pretty successful no matter which one you're using. Whereas because you have the part-times on the regular time trials, you have to use pretty speedy options usually there. Here you can use anything you want, but I gave like the few to several main recommendations already I wanted to give for vehicle advice in there. And premium race for the week here will be for the Sport Classic class. So in a bit here, I'll go over Sport Classic class for a couple good options here where I'm not as familiar with it. Sport Classic class is not a class I'm as familiar with. But yes, Sport Classic class for the 9th gen version of the game. I already mentioned the Sterling GT HSW, which is very damn good for top speed. Though, for the most part, I feel in races you're probably mainly going to need a lap time. Because most races will either be in the city or probably be more corner heavy than like top speed heavy for sure. Unless it's like mostly on a highway, or if it's on like the airport, or like Fort San Cudo, any other sort of like runway kind of thing, and like it's mostly going to be lap time. So then, in like the very rare circumstance it's top speed heavy, I would probably prioritize this Sterling GT HSW on 9th gen. Otherwise, you have a different HSW Sport Classic vehicle with the Turismo Classic HSW. Turismo Classic HSW is your heavy lap time option. So Turismo Classic HSW most likely for 9th gen over Sterling GT HSW. And then for 8th gen uptime options, it's pretty much the regular. It's pretty much then the regular Turismo Classic where you don't have HSW on 8th gen. And then it's the Cheetah Classic for 8th gen after that. And finally, the last one for the top 3 for 8th gen will pretty much be the Rapid GT Classic. Going off of roughly 142 spreadsheet is who that's all credited to, basically. Racing YouTuber roughly 142 spreadsheet, basically, essentially. And then for top speed options, looks like the Z-Type from day one of the game, like a $950,000 sport classic vehicle from day one of the game, is pretty much your number 1 top speed for 8th gen, where you don't have HSW. And then it looks like the Visor is from like the Doomsday Heights, one of those like sport classic vehicles, stuff like that. Just machine gun options is pretty much your number 4, it looks like. Or like your number 2 top speed for 8th gen. There's more top speed heavy. And number 3 top speed essentially for 8th gen looks to be another day 1 supercar, not supercar, but day 1 super classic vehicle. And it looks like that would be the Monroe. It's a couple old ass day 1 options for top speed if it's top speed somehow on that rare circumstance. So I think I'll pretty much do it for any time trial advice and typical time trial advice and stuff like that. Could even be the last time I go over time trials and stuff, because time trials will be going daily, it sounds like, according to San Andreas Mercenaries details from Rockstar. Yeah, according to Rockstar, it sounds like time trials will be going daily with San Andreas Mercenaries, so I might not even be going over time trial stuff anymore starting next update. At least for regular ones, maybe even RC Bandito. I can see HSW still being weekly, being this like 250,000 per one, basically. But yeah, podium vehicle for the week. That is clearly going to be the brand new from the latest Los Santos Drug Wars DLC. It's a pretty recent vehicle, the Zirconium Journey 2. Basically the customizable Journey, essentially the Journey 2 that was released with the new Drug Wars DLC. That's his vehicle, essentially. Or one of his two, at least. I think I know he has that like Glendale custom, I think, as well.
Limousine and helicopter services.
Do my at least one spin for the week here, as per usual. Okay, 40,000. Yeah, I'll take it. Oh, let's take the cat. Let's fucking go. That's definitely San Andreas, certainly. Yeah, just Zirconium Journey 2. On a trade price, you will be saving $592,500. Plus, if it has a livery on it, you might be saving like another 20 to 30,000. So, at least on a trade price at most, so you're only saving like 600,000 ish. 600,000 ish with a livery at most for sure. My trade price. Buy it now price for one as cheap as this wouldn't be much different per se. But yes, this is a pretty mean vehicle. But yes, this is a very mean choice vehicle here. It's not really meant to be a very serious podium vehicle, I imagine for sure. And yeah, it's basically just a journey from 2013 and stuff, but with performance upgrades pretty much. But yes, it's probably basically just a Pegasus vehicle, but with performance upgrades and stuff like that. It's nothing crazy performance or anything. Could be in the Vans class or something, I kind of forget, which might not be a very huge class, but trust me, it's not going to be very good performance. It's most definitely not good performance at all. So unless you want one of the more recent-ish vehicles of the game, it's probably not too worth getting. But it's essentially just a customizable version of the Pegasus one, basically. Maybe it's more of a clean version. Perhaps it's more of a clean version, perhaps. Maybe not as rusted and whatnot. Okay, apparently I found a gun van here, so I guess I'll go over gun van right now.
Followed you, right? Some new stuff I think you'll want to see.
Okay, so for the gun van, looks like you're getting a stun gun, a heavy rifle, compact grenade launcher, double barrel shotgun,
Just so you know, as a limited
bullpup rifle, pistol .50, and the pool cue. Okay. Well, I didn't really look at which ones were on discount and stuff before, so I gotta figure it out here this time around. So, might be a moment here. Okay. Looks like there's a discount on the top two like they usually do. So that would be the stun gun and then the heavy rifle. The stun gun will be your general discount. Not very good, unfortunately. Heavy rifle will be your plus membership only discount, which is exclusive to Night Gen. For the subscription, you can only get on Night Gen. So therefore, you're completely locked out of it on 8th Gen and PC. For 8th Gen consoles and PC, and that does not have the Night Gen version somehow still. That they promised, but it never happened yet. Still leaving.
That rifle's a modern classic.
Everything else is full price. I'll mention at least a little bit for everything, even though non-discount ones, just in case someone's looking for any weapon recommendations. Compact grenade launcher, it's basically a grenade launcher that you can use on a motorcycle and stuff. It's kind of like a drive-by grenade launcher, which is very damn nice. You can definitely get quite the nice can definitely get quite the nice utility out of this one. Double barrel shotgun. I believe you can drive by with this one. I believe you can definitely drive by with this shotgun here. I think it's being used in double down. I think one of those double down maps. Double down's a pretty heavy adversary. Double down is an adversary mode that uses double barrel shotguns pretty heavily. I know there's one map on Double Down where you are on motorcycles and whatnot. So it's one of your couple drive-by motorcycle shotguns you can use. So that feature alone I think makes this very damn worth having.
If I were you, I'd
Bullpup
snap that up while
rifle.
the deal's on.
Bullpup rifle is a Mark II upgrade, which means you can do like some of the specialty ammos on that, which is very nice. So it can be one of your most interesting utility weapons of the game with the Mark II ammos. But otherwise, you can have it as regular ammo if you want to be able to refill the ammo for like the lobby
That kind of
screens, which
rifle
could be a lot
speaks for
more,
itself.
like, give you a lot more usage for general usage. Pistol point 50, one of the more powerful, like, pistols from at least day one of the game.
Act now. That price ain't here for long.
Definitely one of the more powerful day one pistols, but kind of outclassed and stuff by the revolvers and stuff now, I would say. But it does have 12 rounds. That was like double of the revolvers typically. And yeah, pull Q, definitely easily the most used this 1 year.
You land a blow with that? Good night. Just so you know, that's a limited time offer.
There's some pretty nice reasons to get all of these non-discount ones aside for probably the pull Q. Pull Q, you definitely need one for collecting in your weapon wheel. You would probably need to get to collect all the weapons for your weapon wheel.
Hell of a price, huh?
I'll be here forever.
Now for the T1 discount, which I want to go into more details on than the usual ones here. Starting off with the stun gun here. So the stun gun was technically a weapon back in 2013, back in the story mode of the game. But in the State of G-Town line, it's a very recent weapon actually in the last couple years, at least for free mode usage. And there's reasons for that. And basically, I'm just saying that it's usually not going to be that great. Besides for very niche circumstances, one I actually already kind of mentioned because of one of the money opportunities even. If I shoot it, you notice how much slower it is than the one in story mode. And yeah, you can't do the like weapon reload trick like you can with other weapons. So you can't really do the weapon swapping thing because that would be abusable, and you could obviously like keep someone down like unlimitedly. So I thought of all that stuff. You can't like stun lock people in the game because that would be really broken if you could. If you could infinitely like stun lock someone to where they cannot really get out of things and whatnot. I think this one actually does a small bit of damage, whereas the one in single player does like practically no damage for the most part, aside for stunning. Yeah, clearly it's been out of. Oh, clearly it was out of online and not in online like it was for story mode for years and years. Because clearly it wasn't finding its like basic single player state without all kinds of abuse and stuff you could do with it. So it's a significantly nerfed version to the story mode one, so because of that, it's not too useful, unfortunately. I would mainly want to get it if you want to collect all the weapons for the most part. There's only one super niche use I could maybe think of it, and I kind of already mentioned it earlier. You can actually use the stun gun on the juggernauts. At least the ones in the Criminal Enterprise DLC, you can use it on those ones at least, since that was after the stun gun release. So you can disable the juggernauts in that last like mission from UOP. Whatever that last mission is for UOP, you can actually disable the juggernauts there. If you use the stun gun, not like fully disabled, but for a set time, which could allow you to get some good open fire on it. So it makes that mission significantly easier. So that alone, I think, is actually a pretty nice reason to own it, to be honest. You might even be able to use it successfully in like the Doomsday Act 3 finale.
I should probably get out of here soon, too.
Yes. Yes, you definitely might be able to use it pretty successfully in like.
Hey there.
Yes, you might be able to use it pretty successfully in the Doomsday Heist like Act 3 finale as well, for sure. anything else really that uses juggernauts too.
You know the deal.
So it can be a good way to kill off juggernauts.
Pleasure doing business with you.
I'm not sure about like free mode, like ballistic equipment. I'm not sure if it works much for ballistic equipment, to be honest. Since that's since that is going against the player. Since that is going against the player, I kind of doubt it does much, to be honest.
No one followed you, right?
Yeah, I doubt it does much, to be honest, for ballistic equipment though. So probably more so just purely for juggernauts.
Hey there.
But yeah,
Take a look.
that is 30% off for the gun van. So 30% off the gun there.
Happy you asked.
So it's not on my partner's going without. And yeah, heavy rifle. That's one of your later additions to the assault rifle class.
I should probably get out of here soon, too. You know the deal.
And yes,
You didn't see
Mark II weapons, I'm not going to compare to Mark II weapons, I'm mainly just compare to main, like, regular ones. So, like, I'll compare to advanced rifle, compact, military, and service essentially. So, the advanced rifle, I would say for the longest time, was kind of your best, like, general use assault rifle for non, like, Mark II weapons, of course. Alright. I noticed advanced rifle actually does not have the grip attachment. But yes, advanced rifle does not have grip attachment. I actually noticed that here now.
I should probably get out of here soon, too.
Might not be as good fire rate.
No one followed you, right?
Advanced rifle looks like it might have better fire rate than your heavy rifle.
You didn't see me.
So yes, advanced rifle kind of looks to have better fire rate than your heavy rifle. Okay, accuracy seems to be a bit down for the heavy rifle as well, apparently, for those in-game stats. If they're even not reliable, I don't know, per se. Range kind of looks the same to me there. Compact rifle. To be honest, a compact rifle I don't really think is mainly for... I don't really think the compact rifle really tends to be for, like, long-range combat. I think it's more for, like, mid-range, like, close-range combat compared to other assault rifles in the game. Clearly has the most ammo capacity at 100. You can even use that as a drive-by weapon, I believe, for motorcycles. So it's got a lot of its own stuff going for it, so I don't really think it's the most competition for the military, for the heavy rifle, I mean.
You didn't see me.
Military rifle.
You know the deal.
Military rifle has 45 bullets. Military rifle has 45 bullets here, so
again soon. No one followed you, right? You were never here.
Yeah, military rifle has 45 bullets here, so clearly not competing with the heavy rifle there. So I think for sure the main competition for sure with it would be service carbine and
Get out of here soon.
advanced rifle. One advantage clear with the heavy rifle is the grip, as I kind of mentioned earlier.
You didn't see me.
The advanced rifle doesn't have grip, but heavy rifle does, so the service carbine now. Main difference between the service carbine and the heavy rifle though is that the heavy rifle has a scope.
Pleasure doing business with you.
But yeah, main difference between that and the latest service carbine is this one has a scope. Service carbine does not get a scope. So that definitely gives this some unique utility compared to the service carbine.
Alright. Find me again soon.
The advanced rifle. Yeah, heavy rifle I think definitely has a little more damage, it looks like, according to the in-game stats. They're definitely getting a little bit more damage on this one for sure compared to the advanced rifle. You might even get a small tad damage than the service carbine even. I think it goes a little more up for heavy rifle compared to the service carbine, but it's probably not all that noticeable between those two. So damage wise, it's probably easy for these two to be honest. One of the bigger weaknesses. One of the bigger weaknesses for the heavy rifle. One of the bigger weaknesses for the heavy rifle looks to be the fire rate. Looks like the fire rate's not as great on the heavy rifle as the advanced rifle and the service carbine, but it's still an assault rifle. But it's still an assault rifle, so it should still be pretty nice fire rate regardless. It's not as good as those two. Looks like you actually don't get as much accuracy as compared to the service carbine. And even advanced rifle. Looks like your accuracy is not as great despite the scope. But yeah. Having a scope on like the service carbine at least gives advantage there though. Yeah, range pretty much seems to be the same, I believe, for all of those. So yeah. Between the newer like 2021 and like 2022 assault rifles in the game, I think it's definitely one of the couple better later assault rifle editions. Definitely a very nice competition compared to the advanced rifle and stuff. Definitely one of your top couple assault rifle options in the game. I would kind of say it's your best assault rifle option with a scope in the game. I think it's definitely the best scope assault rifle we could use in the game. Being the latest one, being kind of the latest and greatest. The credit military rifle is 50 rounds, so that also scope clearly want that. And then advanced rifle is pretty dated. Advanced rifle is pretty dated at this point, so
You know the deal.
yeah, that one's definitely very worthwhile. Stun gun on the other hand, Jesus Christ, that was random. Fucking game forced me to equip it in there with that phone call.
Okay, let's do this.
Okay, what the hell? Is there a tint glitch? Because it just went back to black and then what the fuck?
Sure.
Weird.
You were never here.
So yeah, aside for like one mission, or aside for Juggernauts in general, not too great there, to be honest. For a stun gun. Heavy rifle is very damn great though. I would definitely get the heavy rifle if you have the plus subscription. Even if you don't have plus subscription, it's probably not that expensive anyways, so you might as well still get it anyways. Right now, I should finally be getting my way over to the thing here, or the LS Carmen. Oh wow, time trial's like right next to the Carmen, that's cool. Maybe I'll want to do it after this then, since it's right there anyways. Usually I save it until like near the end, but since it's right there, I might just do it after. Alright. So from what I'm seeing on the Rockstar Newswire, it looks like none of the test ride vehicles are actually on a discount, so I might not be talking too much about them this time. Get a podium vehicle? I want to say that might be the Dominator GTT, which is one of those like tuner muscle cars in the game for the tuner subclass. Alright, yeah, that's Dominator GTT. I'll talk more about that later. So, for test ride vehicles this time around, it's the Innis Remus, Lamborghini Cinquemilla, and a Novapa GB200. So, as none of these are on discount, I'm probably mainly talk about the Innis Remus, since it is in a tuner subclass, which means you can use it in the street races, pursuit races, and robbery contracts. Whereas most civilian vehicles tend to be mostly useless, I feel, in the game, so... Alright, yes, confirmed none of these are on discount. But yes, the Innis Remus here. As I said, it's one of those like tuner subclass vehicles. It's one of the, like the 15, 17 to like 20 like tuner subclass vehicles in the game. It is one of the like 15-ish like sport cars in the game. Or like, hold on, there was like 2 muscle cars, 2 sedans, and then like a coupe, I think, in the initial batch. I think a dozen of the, at least 1 dozen of the tuner subclass vehicles are actually sport class vehicles. So yes, and this Remus, it's kind of unfortunate it's in the hugest batch of vehicles, and it's not really that great either for the tuner subclass. But yeah, between the dozen of like sport tuner vehicles, this one's definitely not in the top areas at all. You have stuff like the Calco GTF, like Sultan RS Classic, Emperor Vector for like lap time. You have like Chester RR, for example, and like Top Speed. So yeah, it's not in like the top bunch of stuff like that. Unfortunately, it's one of the worst ones you can get for a sport tuner. In fact, when Santos tuners first released, it was actually like the prize ride vehicle there. This Remus was actually the very first prize ride that was ever a thing in the entire game. So if it was prize ride in the initial like release of the LS car, I mean, then it must have not been good even from the start of the tuners update. So you don't want to use it for street races, pursuit races, pretty much. Same with general sport car races, because none of the sport tuners are generally really good for the actual sport class. The only place for tuner subclass stuff you might really be able to get much use out of it for would probably honestly go to the robbery contracts. But even then, your number one top speed option I mentioned, which is actually just your RR for your tuner subclass, that has a rear louvers on it, so you actually have protection on your back window with the number one top speed option with the adjuster RR. So even then it's not necessarily your best option for those anyways. I'd probably mostly just pass on this vehicle, to be honest. Lampadati 5,000. Not on discounts, I won't go into exact numbers, I'll just give a prediction here and what I remember about it. This thing's actually pretty good in the sedan class, I remember definitely. It's one of the newer sedans, I believe, with the contract DLC for sure. Sedan classing does not get a lot of vehicles, so I'm very confident that Lampadati 5,000 is very damn good performance-wise. So it should be a very nice one to get here if you decide to get it on that full price. And last but not least, about the GB200. Just like the Remus, that should be in the sport class. Sport class is like the hugest class of the game with like 100 vehicles. As of the current ever on, I think there's exactly like 100 sport cars in the game, which is fucking insane. With the latest sport car edition of Drug Wars, there's literally exactly 100 now, apparently. But yeah, GB200, it's one of those like rally style sport cars which don't really have super great performance, I believe. So unfortunately the GB200 will probably be the most useless one here, to be honest. Remus at least the Remus you can use in the robbery contracts. Robbery contracts are very damn good money making for the tuner content in the game. At least it has that. GB200 doesn't really have much of an exclusive thing going on with it though. In comparison though. But yeah, those rally style sport cars don't really tend to be good at all. So really easily the best option is probably definitely a single Milla. If you were to get just one of them. But none of them are really too worth getting though, again, since none are on discount now. Alright, yes, Vapid Dominator GTT, I was correct there. That is a tuner subclass vehicle, so I'll be mainly talking in terms of like street race, pursuit race, robbery contracts when I go over this one. So I won't go into exact performance numbers. It's not really necessarily super good for the muscle car class anymore, I feel. Maybe when it first came out, it could have kind of been. But even then, in the same update, there was the Dominator ASP. Dominator ASP was actually the better tuner muscle car between the two tuner muscle cars in the game. So wow, for this one, you have to place top 3 in the LS Car Meet Series for 4 days in a row. Okay, top 3 is not terrible, but 4 days in a row is. Especially when you consider the fact it's a smaller event week. What kind of challenge was this for a smaller event week? Literally, it started on the 8th. This event started on the 8th, so 8th, 9th, 10th. The earliest they could probably get is the 11th, 11th, and I'm literally filming the stream on the 10th. So I don't even think, like, you could even get it till, like, Sunday? Not a lot of time. Especially if you want a, like, small break before the latest DLC comes out and stuff. Especially for someone like me who does, like, YouTube stuff of this game and stuff. Fucking not really the greatest challenge for a smaller event week, to be honest. But it is super easy, as I'll explain. Now LS Car Meet Series, I know for a fact it's gotta be at least street races and pursuit races. Maybe even the free mode, like sprint races, could count as well, maybe? I'm thinking mainly just street race, pursuit race, though. So, this vehicle, by getting it, you'll save. On a trade price, you'll save at least 950,000. Plus, has that livery on it, so probably another 20 to 30,000 at most of a livery on it. So around like 950,000 at most savings on a trade price. I mean, on a buy it now price, it'd probably save like around $1 million, which could be like a heist worth of money, and could save you like an hour of grind, could save you an hour of grind, an hour of time. But yeah. Tuner subclass capabilities. I don't know, maybe I will talk about muscle car class next year, since the muscle car tuners can actually be pretty okay for their actual class, unlike sport tuners where they're only really good for the subclass. Okay, I'll talk about it, I guess. Basically, the Dominator GTT is outclassed entirely for the muscle car class when it comes to 9th gen. On 8th gen, it's just barely hanging on though as well. And yeah, muscle car is a pretty popular class. Looks like Santos Mercenaries is getting new muscle cars as well. But yes, looks like Santos Mercenaries is confirmed to be getting new muscle cars from like screenshots and stuff, so I don't really see this one being a good investment even for 8th gen for muscle car class. Again, I'll only be for the main muscle car class. And yeah, the spreadsheet is being as of like Colonel Enterprise, so that doesn't really put into account Drug Wars. I don't really think Drug Wars had a good muscle car though, I could be wrong though. But still. Dominator GTT, according to Bruffy 1322, spreadsheet is at the way bottom of B tier for the proper muscle car class, which on 9th gen is 12th place lap time, but because of HSW it's number 10 lap time because of no HSW for 8th gen though. And then like 22nd place for top speed, which on 8th gen would be like 20th place for top speed. But yes, top speed is nothing to write home about on this one at all. Lap time on the muscle car class could actually be at the way bottom of the top 10 right now though. But it probably wouldn't hold on to it much longer. I feel that Amani Tech muscle car that seems to be coming out for one of the screenshots, it showed like a muscle car, Amani Tech I believe, for the upcoming Santos Mercenaries DLC. To me that looks pretty speedy, kind of. So I could see this being finally out of top 10 for 8th gen with Santos Mercenaries. So I would probably not get at all for the muscle car class for sure, confirmed. Now, for the tuner subclass, the more sport section for it. Tuner subclass means you can pretty much use it in like street races, pursuit races, robbery contracts, as I said. Sport tuners pretty much dominate when it comes to like the street races, pursuit races, so sport tuners make up all that, so I wouldn't really use it in a street race, pursuit race. I would definitely consider using it in a robbery contract though. It could be pretty nice for your robbery contracts because you can put stuff on the back window, so you do get that bullet protection on the back, which is nice. But again, it won't be as like top speed, like heavy as like the Jester RR. Jester RR, the #1 top speed option, actually does get the rear louvers though. So even then it's kind of pointless there too. But it is the muscle car, which means you can actually do muscle car wheelies with it. So the muscle car wheelies could give it a little bit more utility when it comes to robbery contracts. Like let's say if you're on a highway, maybe you need to get off the highway without having to fully get off the highway. Maybe you can muscle car wheelie off of the highway. So you could get some utility with that. And yeah, for your guaranteed top 3 here, I'll start with pursuit races, I guess, which won't be guaranteed top 3. You have 4-player minimum there, so that's like a 75% chance we do pursuit races, which is pretty decent still. But for LS Car Meet Series, you might as well go to street races, so you have that 2-player minimum that you can do, so you can guarantee an entry. You can even do 3 players if you want a little bit more fun, and it's pretty much still a guarantee. As far as I remember when doing the challenges in the past, it's guaranteed if it's within that player count. So street races should get you a pretty successful time of getting it if you're willing to do the 4 days in a row part. Okay, let me get my just W drag here actually, just so I can get the next finger for 216. Why not? Gonna have to use it anyway, so just saying. And the time trial's in livery right here, so that's probably what we're doing that here. Alright, orange camo puffer for my clothing on that, cool. Another 20,000. Alright, here it is. This is the lead version, which I prefer. Cool. Yeah, I gotta go over one more thing that's right before we leave here now. But yeah, HSW test ride this time around is a Karen S95. Now, this one in a sense is kind of the least worth getting, to be honest. And that's because if you've previously played on an 8th gen system and you eventually get a 9th gen system, I believe it's actually automatically a reward for like a returning player. It's returning player content where you can actually get one for free, if I believe, if you link your like 8th gen and like 9th gen like accounts together essentially, and you transfer over. Now the problem with that is if you do actually lose your 8th gen character, if you care to go back at all on your 8th gen version, but apparently 9th gen systems, at least the PS5, has been a whole lot easier to obtain now, so it could be something much more worth doing now. Xboxes, I'm not really sure if the Xboxes are a lot more like easy to obtain now, but it might be as well. At least the S, not sure about the X though. It could be something worth doing, so if you do transfer your character over, you do get one for free, I believe. So that makes it not too worth getting for like paid price. But there's two HSW sport vehicles in the game, the S95 and then the Banshee, even as the HSW for the regular Banshee. The Banshee is a top speed heavy one. S95 is a lap time heavy one. The lap time, like I've mentioned, is usually the more useful one for racing, which is where you're most likely going to be using that if you own multiple HSW vehicles. There's only two HSW sport vehicles in the game, so very worthwhile, I would say, for sure. Definitely can be pretty worthwhile. Yeah, like I said, I'm probably doing this since it's literally right here anyways. So why not? It shouldn't be too terribly long, it shouldn't be too difficult, I don't think, from what I remember. Do you think it's one of the easier controls? From memory? So I did manage to work on there, let's go. But yeah, this one I think there can be debris in the way, so you gotta watch out for some debris though. Besides for that, it's pretty damn easy from what I remember on this one for sure. Oh, that sucks. That was close. God, that wrecked at the end. If I didn't crash, I would have did it for trying out. Clearly. Oh my god, why? Please don't tell me this game destroyed, please don't. Yeah, that was bull. I can turn into there, apparently. I have a pretty aim on the speed, because I kinda need to, after all. Or if I don't need to, then I like to, because it's HSW, and I'm using my 9-gen hardware with that shit. This game barely uses the 9-gen hardware when it's still updating on 8-gen, so they have to limit the content to 8-gen for the most part. to fully drop it off entirely. And there, I don't know how I didn't manage to control that shit better than over 2 times, but okay. Like I said, very easy with the right stuff.
Just another day staying clean.
Yeah, no, I think I'll be doing luxury autos here. See if anything there is on discount at least, unlike the test rides. I haven't really looked, so I don't know yet for a little preview, but I'll find out obviously before I mention stuff. Even if they're not on discount, I'll give some predictions and what I remember and whatnot. Okay, the 8F Drafter, I actually do believe it's on the discount section. Login GT, I want to say it's full price though. That definitely looks full price to me there. Deal. 500,000 in it for the after yeah. Definitely does not seem normal to me. Alright, yeah, 8F Drafter, 30% off. Jog GT is indeed full price. I kind of forget if this one was from one of his casino updates, Casino Resort Heist, or maybe it was even like summer special from like summer 2020, I think. One of those couple, I think, was when this released. Yeah, it's in its sport class, I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah, well, I pretty much saw it on the newswire, right? Okay, the 8F Drafter. According to Bruffy 150 spreadsheet, it is in the B tier for the sport class. And it is 24th place for lap time, and then 60th place for top speed. Okay, so you are nowhere near top 10 with it at all, apparently. Sport class, again, is like the biggest class of the game with like 100 vehicles now. Fucking insane. Not this class has like exactly 100 vehicles. So, not really super good performance. It's an above average for a lap time. Like, it's within like the top 50 for a lap time for above average at least. But, yeah, still way off top 10 though there. So I probably wouldn't get it even on discount per se. It is pretty cheap if you want it though, but it's cheap for a reason, not being the greatest performance though. So that would be why it's as cheap as like $500,000 after all. Clearly that's kind of going to play into the performance a bit, probably price-wise there, yes. Wagon GT, again, it's not on discount, so I'm not going to go over like exact the numbers here, but I have one in my arena garage, so I think I recall it being pretty good, somewhere for like top speed or something, or at least it once was kind of good for top speed. And that's also sport class. I think it's more top speed heavy than lap time heavy on that one. Could be even kind of getting there. I actually took a little glance, and there's actually only one placement better for a lap time than the 8F drafter, so it's like 23 instead of like 24 or whatever. I'm gonna purchase plug-in GT for lap time. But yeah, it's out of top 10 though, for top speed I looked as well. But I'm not gonna give exact number there, since it's non-discount. And last but not least for the showrooms here will be the Korean Plus Motor Sport here. Man, I seriously can't believe there's even going to be another fucking... Yeah, I was kind of talking stranger, it seems, but yes. Can't believe there's even going to be another fucking goddamn 9th gen exclusive showroom even. They could go over even, which is fucking insane. Okay, so it looks like the Dinka Blitzer Kanjo, Lampadati Novik, the Beater Dukes, Camacho, and Pegasi Toros. I want to say that sounds like the same manufacturer. That one was in Ponte Beater Dukes, this one was Canista Camacho, and then this one was Pegasi Toros. Be a bit more consistent there. Okay, Ballista Kanjo, I think is the one from the, like, Diamond Casino Heist DLC, not the one from, like, not the, like, compact tuner, or whatever the fuck, or, like, coupe tuner, I mean, it's not the coupe whoops, it's not the coupe tuner from the Criminal Enterprise DLC, I'm pretty sure, because that's like Kanjo SJ, I can swear on that one. See if there's any. Yeah, I know there's at least one discount on definitely the Novik, I believe. Yes, the Novik, 30% off. The rest seems to be full price. I'm mainly talking about the Novik, probably none. Because of that. And because of that, it's kind of the better of the few. Think of Blisto Kanjo. Not gonna go into the most specifics here since it's not on discount, but I believe this one's in like a compacts class or something for the, I think, a Kanjo. I don't know. I don't think this one's coupe like the Kanjo SJ or whatever. I think this one's more compact class. So it's a pretty unique classing. There's not too many vehicles that are in the compact class or whatever class it's in. I know it's definitely in a pretty niche class of not a lot of vehicles. So it could perhaps be one kind of nice to get. I'm not too sure how it performs on top of my head in that class. I don't necessarily think it's like a super top option, but it might be within at least top 10 though, since it's a pretty small class after all. And then, yeah, Lampadati Novik is in the SUV class. I believe the Lampadati Novik is actually pretty nice performance for the SUV class. Not in like the way top per se, like stuff like the Taurus and like the Astrons and like the sportier SUVs I feel in the game, but I want to say it's within like top 10 numbers for sure. Alright, so going off of roughly 152 spreadsheet for the Lampadati Novik. In the SUV class, it is at the way top of the A tier. Looks to be at the way top of A tier. Not S tier, it's the tier right beneath, which is still very damn good. That gives it a number 3 lap time. Though with the Winnie Izzy Rally HSW, it's honestly probably like a number 4 lap time even now. definitely for sure within like top 3, top 5, it seems for sure. Could even be like your number 2, it looks like, for a lap time for 8th gen where you do not have HSW. So where you do not have HSW, it looks like it can actually be number 2 even for 8th gen for lap time. And then it also looks to be number 3 for top speed as well. And it also looks to be number 3 for top speed as well, yes, for sure. And again, on like 8th gen, it's probably going to be like number 2 top speed on 8th gen, behind like the Tauros. But yeah, I want to say with the Winnie's Rally HSW, it's probably more like top 5, with like number 4 like top speed now. So it's definitely for sure within top 3 for lap time and top speed, lap time top speed for both, top 3. Top 3 everywhere for sure for SUV class for 8th gen, more so top 5 for 9th gen, which is still very respectable. So you can definitely have some pretty damn nice success with the Lampadati Novik. Very damn nice discount, I would highly recommend picking up. Could even be good on 8th gen if people take off the ace. Could even be good on 9th gen when people take off the HSW option in races. You can turn off HSW in races pretty much, unless it's an actual HSW race. So it could always be something worth having in 9th gen as well. So keep that in mind. But yeah, definitely top 3, like 8th gen, top 5 more so, 9th gen. Very damn good SUV. But yes, the Impante Beater Dukes. This would most definitely be a muscle car class vehicle, just like the regular Dukes, like Duke of Death and stuff like that. It's a beater version, so it could be even less performance than the regular Dukes, for all I know, from the top of my head. I don't know, it is a newer Duke, so it could be better performance than the regular Dukes from like the start of 8th gen. But yeah, it's definitely not in the very top parts of muscle car class, definitely not. It's mainly for customization. I imagine the beater stuff makes for some pretty nice customization stuff, at least. And this Camacho, I do remember this actually being pretty good for the off-road class. This should definitely be a very nice, damn decent off-road vehicle. I don't think it compares to stuff like the Draugr and the Vagrant from like the last like couple few years. This one I think was in like Doomsday Heist and stuff. It's probably in like top 5, top 10 at worst, I would say. Should definitely still be pretty usable for the off-road class. San Andreas Mercenaries does seem to be getting at least one new off-road vehicle, at least from what's been being seen so far. But I think it should still be in a pretty fun spot, regardless. So I'd say it should be pretty fun for a while still. And then, yeah, the Pegassi Tauros. I was kind of mentioning already, actually, that Novik and the Tauros are pretty on top of the SUV class. But yeah, I think I was pretty much mentioning Novik was like in top 3, top 5, and like it was always like pretty much beneath like the Tauros in terms of non-HSW. Tauros is basically the number 1 non-HSW SUV in the game. So in 8th gen, it's pretty much the #1 SUV for 8th gen. For 9th gen, it's still a very damn impressive SUV, even more so than a discounted Novik even.
Hey, man!
Okay, this is only 447,260 right now, okay, for the one with the livery and stuff. Could even get a little bit cheaper on the website. Yeah, that's one normally it's like 500,000, so at least it's, yeah. Just for the better price, this one is definitely more worthwhile, I would argue. Honestly, I think the selection of vehicles is actually pretty good performance this time around. Probably the worst performing one here would definitely be the Beater Dukes, for sure. #1 recommendation is for sure going to the Novik being on discount and very good performance for the SUV class. Taurus would be #1 if it was on discount too, but not on discount. It's probably easily the #2 recommendation here, from best to worst. #3 would definitely go over to the Kidness Camacho, I would say. Should be pretty damn decent shit for off-road class still. #4 would definitely go to the Ecopista Kanjo. Because it's in a pretty small class, it can't be too terrible, I would say. But yes, this means definitely in a pretty small class, so it should not be able to be too terrible. And then muscle car is a pretty popular class with the beater dukes. It's clearly got more customization focus. It's a beater vehicle. It's not meant to be very quick or anything. Certainly going to be your worst possible option to pick up here. Between the discount and non-discounted few options here. So from there, I'll pretty much have to go over remaining like money opportunities and discounts and whatnot. And sure, I guess I'll show off the like mammoth Avenger over here, I guess, first before I do some of that. Santo Capra coins livery. By the way, I went camo in the title, by the way, because the title can only be 100 characters. So I just went with camo to save on characters for the title, because you can only have 100 characters per title, yes. My title is a little bit weird, and that's why. Because they can only have 100 characters, I went for camo instead of livery. Yeah, it's definitely an expert vehicle, goddamn. Fun. There's stuff I can talk about while driving this, I suppose, especially with standards mercenaries coming up. So sure, I'll do it. Alright, Karate Bestia GTS in the sport class. Actually own one of these for like a finance and felony theme garage I have or whatever. But yes, I have a finance and felony theme garage. I believe I do actually own this vehicle, so that's pretty cool. That's really a very good vehicle. I don't know, it could be pretty nice. It could actually be a pretty nice top speed one actually in the sport class. I kind of forget actually. Because finance felony on like the P rate 11, so it could have a pretty crazy like top speed sport car as well for the update. I forget. But yeah. for sure Divine would like car club thing, whatever the fuck. I don't even know if I'm even like saying the name and shit right. That's how I don't care to talk about it honestly too much. I feel it's getting a little like, are you even able to buy the vehicles there at all without the subscription, like at regular price? Because it sounds like members and non-members can go into like garage on building thing, whatever. It sounds like non-members can go in the building as well for the 19 version. Just you won't get like the 20% discount. Like, be able to use interactive menu to call vehicles to your location. Can you even like buy the vehicles at full price though? That's what I wondered. Didn't necessarily sound like it to me. So like, you just get to look at the vehicles and stuff. You don't even get to like buy them at full price, like as if you weren't a plus person. That's kind of bullshit. And yeah, I think there was like a vehicle reveal or two that was kind of found. At least one new vehicle was pretty much confirmed through like some of those screenshots and stuff that might have not been seen before. I don't know how to explain it the greatest, I'm not going to, but one of the images had a pretty clear new vehicle that might have not been a thing before on a previous reveal. I think Gilly Master, who I watched, said there was even maybe a new debauche as well, but people were kind of just saying it's like the Masacro or something, kind of just thought it was new or some shit. Who knows, I mean, Masacro could get an HSW upgrade or something, you never know. I'm not going to speculate if I think this is true or not, because that could have been kind of random. I've just been a YouTuber thinking something was new, and of course. Santos apparently like on like a video for only like 1 second, so the debauche, whatever, there's not really too much of a good look at it apparently, because it was only in a video for like a second though. I don't know. A lot of the wording and stuff was probably talking about like a lot of the same shit and stuff. I don't even think I would have been able to think of enough things to say on that, even if I did do a video thing for that, honestly. But I don't know. I'm not big on the idea of a whole fucking hangout. But yes, I'm really not big on the idea of having a whole like exclusive hangout spot that only subscription people can take much advantage of in the first place. A 9th gen exclusive one for like 9th gen exclusive like HSW things with like multiples could have been pretty cool or something. I don't know. That's kind of what the HSW like the best ride is already doing though. I don't know, it just seems really scummy in my opinion though. I feel it's going to go hand in hand, but yeah. I think it's going to go hand in hand though with them removing vehicles, like lesser used vehicles from websites though. There's probably a way to like not make that as bad, but you have to pay the subscription to get certain vehicles that are going to be. That's probably hella FOMO, like fear of missing out shit they're going to be doing. They already did that pretty heavily with Drug Wars, where they released vehicles but only for like 1 week at a time. I'm actually curious, since like the end of Drug Wars, did they even like release them all permanently? I don't think they mentioned that at all, they probably didn't. Yeah. Yeah, I don't see the fucking... I don't see that Avenger Panther from like a pretty unique new manufacturer there. Bruh. They're going a whole nother level with that shit now. They're gonna be fucking removing lesser, like, used vehicles. Fucking Christ, though. This is a fucking open world sandbox game. We're gonna be losing all kinds of freedoms when we're gonna be able to be pulled when we can and can get certain vehicles. Are you fucking serious? Not just ones from new updates, but older ones now too. Yikes. Gotta put a lot more thought apparently into vehicles before you sell them and shit. Have to put a lot more thought into vehicles before you sell them and shit then, probably. So there, that's kind of my point of what I was saying with this stuff there. That's a discussion I was seeing being brought around online, and I very much agree with the sentiments there. Sure, whatever. It's going to be very heavy FOMO material if there's going to be a whole bunch of vehicles there that are only going to be available there and not even on websites when they remove those lesser used vehicles. That'd be so fucking scummy, though. That'd be the biggest scummy move, I feel, of Rockstar yet. Okay, I don't know why I went in here. Whoops.
What's up, Chief?
I don't know, I didn't need to actually modify the Avenger, right? Only had one option there, right? Pretty sure. Certainly, yes, now. Okay. I think my count was 31 previously, I think. I think the image they showed it was a blue one, but that's probably because it was a blue color and I needed it as well. But yeah, I don't think I remember that actually being a thing before, for sure. Plus, when I booted the game, it said I got it new, so... Yeah, you can definitely see a little bit of design on there, even with my black paint job on there. Sure, at least I can on my end. Otherwise, it's pretty much like your efforts into Capra coins and stuff like the Oppressor Mark II. Otherwise, it's like the into Capra coins pretty much from the Oppressor Mark II and other similar vehicles already, anyways. Still gonna rock my hunting camo for now, though. Not really the biggest on this two new liveries of the last couple events, to be honest. Gotta wait to see what new liveries they possibly do with the actual new updates, since they're expanding on the Avengers clearly. Hopefully there's a cool new like livery I'm interested in to change it for the finally change up the hunting camo. Not that I probably used it much since getting the hunting camo anyways, but still. And yeah, I think there's some clothing stuff that's new from what I've heard as well. I didn't have the greatest luck at the news wire now, but I think that's what I've heard for sure. Or I just go back to Simeon's for now, because I'm not really too sure where I'm going to be going yet. Maybe a Cove and Sora, like I kind of said, but that's what I heard. I didn't really take the biggest look, though. So now I should be going over more of his money opportunities and more details on ones that were already a thing. Now that I'm in the actual game, not just prelude to main menu. Okay. So I'll go over a new money opportunity here, and it's actually a repeat one, I think, from the last time around. And that is the San Andreas Flight School, it looks like. I believe this was an exact one from the last event. Kind of makes sense they would keep it again, since this event is only for like 5 days. It's a smaller event, and with the upcoming DLC around the corner and whatnot, it's flight themed and shit. Makes a fuck ton of sense. Unless you're doing them for your first time completion and stuff, on like gold medals and stuff, you can get some pretty nice money for that, but besides for like first time, it's not really too worth it, essentially, is what I was all saying the last time, but maybe in a bit more detailing and whatnot. And right, I think it's close to the bottom, right? Yes. That was my bad. But yes, for the OP missions, that is asset seizure. This one has like drones and stuff. I think it's like a stealth mission and stuff, if I recall right. So if you're pretty good at stealth and stuff, it could honestly be one of the easier missions, I would say, if I remember it correctly. Cleanup. I actually believe cleanup is that final one I was talking about with like the stun gun. Now the stun gun is pretty good on like the juggernauts and stuff, so that's your like finale mission here. Pretty damn fun finale mission, but obviously with juggernauts, they're pretty dinky characters. Maybe not the most fun per se in that sense. Could be one more worth avoiding there. Okay, UOP counterintelligence. I know this one has a drone in the like thumbnail thing, but I think you just follow a drone in that one to like a building. I don't think it's the one where you actually have drones you can destroy. And then like the Texan characters, whatever, like characters from those like story missions from the Savior one from earlier. Honestly, I don't really remember this one too much, but at least the earlier parts, if I remember right, aren't too terrible. I don't know. I think you have to find like you might have to find like a power switch or something. I forget. Might have to find like a little switch on like a building. That could be a little annoying. And it's the earlier parts. If there is any hard parts, it's probably more near the end. Mr. Edition. I think this is that one when you like go into like the garage and stuff. I think there's like a garage and stuff. You search for stuff and whatnot. I don't necessarily remember this one being too terrible. Intelligence. Is that the first one or is this the first one? It says Nexus time in there. Okay. Intelligence is probably the first mission, I believe. Being the first of the set of the OP missions could kind of make it one of the easier ones in that sense, being the very first and not the very last one to clean up. Alright, Alright, this one looks like he interrupted deal and stuff. It seems like it's one of his final ones before cleanup and whatnot, so it could be one of the harder ones there. So, I mean, this one's a pretty easy one if you're good at stealth. This one can be kind of easy, at least in the earlier parts. It's nice for maybe to find something like a building, which can be a little annoying. If I'm remembering it right. This one's not too bad from what I recall. And then that one. Some of the harder ones might be Operation Paper Trail, and then for sure Cleanup. I'm definitely certain on that one. Not so certain on this one though. But yo, I really cannot wait for the Weaponized Canada though. Looks like there's a Weaponized Canada with Santos Mercenaries coming out. Regular one is cool, but it wasn't weaponized and stuff, so I don't use it much personally. And yeah, again, I was saying payouts, I think on certain contact missions, like newer ones tend to be like 23,100 at most, I believe, for like 15, 16 minutes, so probably like 46, 47,000 you can maybe make on those, not the most. Not the greatest money per se, but it's something at least, but I would probably do VIP. I'd probably do VIP work since you can do it more so in free mode over that. That's not the greatest money opportunity for sure, but it's definitely a quite nice one for this event compared to some other ones. Now I want to go into the new money opportunity here for Drop Zone. I don't think this one was on the money opportunity last time. I don't believe it was. I know it's one of those returning game modes for the month of June, but I don't think it was actually on money opportunity last event. But yeah, this one's not the greatest rated and stuff. Yeah, you jump from aircraft, I think it's a cargo bot, basically you parachute to ground where you attempt to control a drop zone. So there you're kind of capturing different areas, kind of like a capture the flag kind of mode or something like that. And maybe have a little bit of battle royale kind of vibes of jumping off like vehicle, like that battle royale game at least. Not as battle royale heavy as like Motor Wars, but it could be a little something like that, kind of as well, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Capture kind of modes, I don't know if it would have to be the funnest ones. That can be concentrated in like a very small area. I prefer game modes where you have like a lot of play space personally. There's only 5 maps in this one. You don't get as much map variety. You don't get as much map variety here either. It looks like. And yes, an adversary mode. I would say at most you get like a couple 100,000 on adversary modes at most, and that's if you do like maximum amount of rounds, your team wins like every single time and stuff like that. So yeah, you're clearly not gonna make very serious money. Not even compared to like DLP contact missions. It's clearly not gonna be something as good as that. I'd probably even say flight school would probably be a better money opportunity, honestly, than that even. Alright, yes, there is new party shirts, apparently. Okay, they don't show much of image for that later down the news more, so I guess I'll show the party shirts now and then. Yeah, it looks like just new party shirts, pretty much. The hell, did I break some glass on it? Probably in that shit, or what the fuck? Did not mean to per se, but okay. I'll go to my favorite clothing store location because I can. Fuck it, why not? Maybe that was a login reward or something. Okay. So the only reason I got me now is a star there. Okay, I didn't see anything there. That's probably just a visual glitch thing or something then. None of those are just stars on them. I don't know what categories in the show stars. Yeah, man.
Take your
But none of
time.
those are in the show stars on them, so I'm probably getting there. Probably never visual glitch thing. Probably same there. Alright, so here's the party shirts, okay. Alright, couple Yeti camos. Yeti Revere collar. Sente Nove, whatever, if I'm remembering right, whatever, from Baldy Tony. If it's that, then I forget. I don't know. SN River collar. Couple Marvel River collars. Some those cool, like, colorish lightning ones there are pretty cool. Six different lightning ones there are pretty cool. Dragon one there. Probably surprised, honestly. I personally am that they didn't do that during like the Chinese like New Year stuff or whatever that they celebrate. Like Lunar New Year, I think they did Lunar New Year stuff, but they didn't do that there. Right, red, teal, black, red flames. More of those as well. Quite a few of those.
If you can't find your size, we'll
Like
order.
blockers of your color, red, blue. Red, blue, black. Looks like that was pretty much it. Looked like it was 25 new ones, it looked like, from what I can tell. Not just any hidden anywhere else. Yeah, it seems just was 25. Definitely some pretty cool, nice ass designs there for sure. Shame they couldn't release those on there before, no, for some reason. Because they had to drip feed quote. They had to fucking drip feed clothing this time around for some fucking reason, but yeah. Probably just a login reward fin there from before.
Those are selling fast.
Those are probably already previously released, from from a previous wave of the Drifty Clovey and whatever. Yeah, it was probably just those 25 party shirts, it looks like. Yeah, it doesn't mention anything aside for party shirts, it's definitely just those 25
Make
party
sure you
shirts.
come
That's
back.
it. Or a newswire shirt did not. Barry mentioned flight school, the paper trail missions. Now that I'm in the actual game, I do want to talk a bit more about other VIP works and stuff, perhaps. Maybe even do like 1 or 2 or so, I don't know. I'm doing this at like 8 in the morning, I might not do one. I've how I played VIP works and stuff in past event streams and stuff. I feel like I explained a bunch pretty damn good already, kind of. We have Cloud, the Phantom Wedge one, that's like the $60,000 one you can do with like 1 hour cooldown I mentioned earlier. Blue Loader Ruiner again, I said this one pays like $20,000, I believe, on like double. This one's not really for the money, it's more like an anti-grief tool, it's more like for anti-griefing. Or of course it could probably do the other way around if you want to be a dickhead or something. Maybe it's all, that's definitely the one with the technical aqua, which I definitely would imagine is one of the worst ones. Not only do you need other people in your organization, but technical aqua's a fucking truck, and it's pretty slow in water, certainly. Yeah, this one's an hour cooldown as well, but yeah, not very great money anyway, so I wouldn't prioritize that at all. Transporter, again, that's like the Wastelander one. I think, again, I was saying it's like 40-ish, like 1,000, like headhunter and sightseer kind of balance, for example. This one might be like the least cooldown for the vehicle ones at like 30 minutes. If I remember right, again, I think I mentioned. This one is the Armored Boxville one, survive until time runs out. So you have to be forced to wait 10 minutes on this one, so it's one of the longer ones, unfortunately, because of that. It's not like other ones where it's done as soon as the task is complete, unfortunately. But it does pay $20,000 from what I remember on double, which is pretty crazy. So it can be pretty worth it. And yeah, Fortified, I do want to share a little more on the strategy I mentioned earlier. I like to be around like the Storm Drainier. When starting, I like to Schaefer would just help me speak to him, but yes. I like to be around the casino, like around over the lake area here, Mirror Park. I like to get the spawn for the Armored Boxville over here, because it's pretty damn close to the Storm Drain. And I like to go for the Storm Drain, go underground. Very simple if you know where you're going and stuff in the Storm Drain, which shouldn't be too difficult to find out. Even if you're in a public lobby, and that's definitely pretty essential in a public lobby if you have somebody going after it or something, but you can do an invite only. You can do those in invite only, so not too much point really taking the risk of doing it in a public lobby anyways. But even then you got like AI teammates, not AI teammates, but you have AI enemies going after you. So even invite only, I would probably go in the underground area so you don't have to worry about the Boxville getting destroyed. And you can go AFK the whole 10 minutes, like do stuff on your phone or something even while you wait. So it could be a good one to do if you need to do something for like 5 to 10 minutes. I think that explains everything I wanted with that. I think that definitely explains everything I want to do with that. Velocity, entering the rocket vortex, and top speed until time zone, avoid detonation. I was basically explaining that earlier, but for a map demonstration, I said earlier I like to start around the casino. Again, I don't use the boost unless I absolutely have to, because you want to be on the highway and stuff as long as possible. You don't want to be boosting all over the place. You don't want to have to be wondering where to go all the time. So just drive normal, just use boost when you absolutely need to. I wouldn't go like purposely kind of slow. I would go like full throttle. I would go full throttle and be careful of other vehicles. Again, only use the boost if you really need to. But yeah, when I get off casino, maybe just go straight off our highway. Following the cursor, all those movements I do there. And then once I get here, instead of dropping off over here, instead of dropping off over here, when I get to like here, I go over here to more highway. Then I go this way. Usually with the strategy, by the time 10 minutes is up, I'm pretty much like on this like bridge here. Pretty much by like the bridge and stuff there is pretty much where the 10 minutes ends off for me, doing that strategy on velocity. Just driving like normal, full throttle, only using boost when you need to, and not detonate. That one should be 70,000 pounds and stuff, I believe like 45 as well, and I want to say it's like 45-minute cooldown, 30-45-minute cooldown or something. You know how we're like Phantom Legend fully loaded word percent.
I can give you a recommendation. Sorry.
No, I can't hang out tonight. I'm going to an Epsilon
Because
here.
you're irresponsible, you have disgusting BO, and there's a good
I don't believe any of that crap.
Yeah, ramped up.
Way to land any decent gigs in this town, man.
Ramped up, I pretty much already explained all that already. I'm not the most familiar with what payout is and like cooldown times because it requires like multiple people in the organization, but the strategy isn't really to ramp up like motorcycles on the rooftops anymore since you do have the oppressors and like the death bike now. Like I kind of mentioned earlier, to just have people in like oppressor Mark 2 since there's you could use the Mark 1 oppressors, but of course you have to be pretty careful with the Mark 1 oppressors. Whereas Mark 2's flow and shit, with Mark 2's especially, would make the ramp being at the motorcycles pointless. So there's definitely quite nice strategies you can do on that one. And yeah, collecting cargo crates going in at sea, I just don't really feel that one's going to be all that like efficient to do. I feel it'll be one of the slower going ones. So yeah, you can do it solo and stuff. I don't remember the payout and like cooldown. It's been forever since I did it, but definitely not going to be as good as Velocity Fortified Transporter and like Plowed, I would say. For the soloable ones, and then ramped up if you have associates and stuff. I think stockpiling, if it was still and fully loaded, are definitely the weaker of those import-export ones. Of the 80. Headhunter, one of those better ones in terms of like cooldown and good money pay as well. You get like 40-ish thousand, I believe. Like I said, I believe you get 40-ish thousand, I believe on like double. That's only like 5-10 minute cooldown per time. So because of low cooldowns, decent-ish pay, it could be one of your better options. Especially when combined with like Sightseer. Airfree, you need people outside of your organization, it looks like. There's also an unfortunate part about this as well, not explained here, but I believe you have to carry a cargo container with a cargo bob. So you have to use a pretty slow cargo bob, especially with people outside the organization required. You're probably going to be a big target. And then I think there might be AIs as well on it. We could shoot the container, but yeah. The container actually has money value, and that's the money you actually receive from the job, I believe. So I think it's the only like VIP work where you can lose money. Like not in like a failing kind of way, like you fail or don't like complete the entire thing, but like just the container getting damaged alone can like lower your pay. Apparently, from what I've heard, which is not good. Haulage. Haulage, you have stuff like the Phantom Wedge and like the MOC and stuff that can make that quite a breeze if you're wanting to be a risk to other organizations. If you want other organizations to be able to attack you or something. Not going to be one of the better ones because of the more strict requirements per se, but still. And yeah, hostile takeover is nice because you can actually choose between a few different locations. So being able to choose location makes that one quite nice. I don't think it's as good pale as like Headhunter and Sights here, but it's definitely quite a fun one.
Favorite sister?
Asset recovery, this one literally says you steal vehicles. You need to get the vehicles. To get to these vehicles, you're pretty much probably already going to be in much quicker stuff anyways, so why would you want to go in quicker vehicles and be in like less speedy vehicles? Yeah, taking vehicles and over and to drop off a patient don't really feel it was that great of one, especially solo. Maybe with like huge groups it could be nice, like in a whole group of 4 or whatever. The amount of vehicles could depend on your players too, so even with multiple like people in the organization, probably not too great either. It's just not too worth your time, honestly. I feel. And I don't even think the pay is even as good as like a Headhunter, Sightseer, either. But you're having to put more effort into it. And yeah, that's when you're basically defeating targets. There's quite the destructive vehicles in the game with the Hydra laser. They are getting their cannons nerfed though, so those won't be good options anymore for like the Hydra, for example. The Savage can make quick work out of Headhunter, and that cannon will stay the same for Sanders and Mercenaries. But Executive Deathmatch, you're basically doing a deathmatch against another organization. You're basically just going to put a target on your head. I wouldn't really do that one. Executive Surge, you're basically just putting a target on yourself, because you're basically trying to push people to find you. This one could probably be done pretty well in like underground areas, so similar to Fortified there. Assuming you can go underground during that and whatnot. So maybe that could actually make it kind of nice, but maybe if you go underground like a Fortified, it could be a good strategy. I'd probably rather do Fortified over Executive Search though. I think Fortified tends to be more money than Executive Search, and the requirements aren't anywhere near strict. Sightseer, one of the better ones in terms of payout and cooldown time, or having low cooldown time, pretty average payout. So it's one of the better ones actually, kind of, because back-to-back Headhunter, Sightseer is kind of one of the better strategies. And yeah, you want real quick vehicles for point to point P travel on this one. There's no enemies at all, no whatsoever, pretty much. And yeah, piracy prevention, that's the one that lasts like 10 to like 15 minutes on your yacht. If you're just playing with friendlies and your friendly people are willing to let you win your piracy prevention, and good. But yeah, if you're in a public lobby where it's everyone for themselves, basically, then probably pretty risky, like executive deathmatch kind of. And to some extent, executive search too. So basically, I think the good ones are Plowed, Transporter, Fortified Velocity, Rampant, Headhunter, kind of Haulage, also Takeover, maybe kind of executive search, you can go underground like with fortified, but you are putting a target against your head more than you probably would be with fortified, so maybe kind of not. This one for sure. And that one, depending on the circumstance as well, kind of with executive search too. I feel at least like 10 to 11 maybe you're kind of pretty alright. Only like if you just several that really aren't too great. And I can't really look at what the challenges, so I'm not going into more like, I already mentioned challenges a little bit. For a couple that are pretty good. I pretty much mentioned anything I wanted on any of this. I don't really need to play them anymore. Like I think everything I mentioned, point can be kind of understood for sure. Alright, went over drop zone. Okay, last but not least for money opportunity, it looks like one more in the pause menu. And this one I think is definitely one of your better options for pause menu, especially because it's actually a triple money as well. Didn't they expand transform races on the 9th gen version to 30 players? I thought they were supposed to. I don't know, I thought 9th gen at one point they said they were going to make the player requirement 30 players. I don't know, maybe they did, and maybe it's just not adjusted on like this menu, but okay. Either way, transform races. Pretty interesting set of races in my opinion, some of my favorite races personally. Those require some knowledge on like how they work and how they function and stuff though, to know like how like to do it most efficiently. So essentially transform races, they're like regular races where you choose one vehicle of like a certain class, but there's also certain specialty vehicles as well. Like there's certain weaponized ones that tend to get used and certain like aircrafts that Rockstar determines and stuff like that. But yes, certain specialty vehicles are not limited to weaponized vehicles, and like aircrafts, they can also be certain particular like land vehicles as well. Could maybe try to think of a good example if I scroll through some of them. But yeah, I think in the descriptions for each one, I think you can actually see what the vehicle lists are, I believe, if you want to find out like which ones are good for you, depending on like what vehicles you have. Okay, like I think that one uses the oppressor Mark 1, so if you have a Mark 1 oppressor customized, then you can actually use a custom one if custom is on. Same with that one, like Boys Are Aqua, obviously. And that one, like Ranger 2000. I think that one might just be motorcycle of choice. Could be like the Vortex or something. I think Vortex might be used on one of them. Really trying to think of a good example here to think of. I think this one does actually use a Shotaro in particular, so like if you have a custom Shotaro, you can use that. Yeah, Iron Saber might be a forced one there, and not like one you can choose like any of like the sport class or whatever. Trying to think of a good example here. Let's see if any of these thumbnails give vibes of that. And yeah, there's certain vehicles like the Phantom Wedge that cannot be customized with like engine upgrades and stuff. So it could be a strategy to think of ones that don't have much vehicles with like customization options and whatnot if you're not wanting to buy much of the vehicles for these transform races. Trying to think if I can think of a good example here though. Yeah, I think this one you can use a pyro. Or this one you have to use a pyro. I think it's one of those like specialty vehicles they force you to use. So if you have a custom pyro, you can have an advantage in this one. Okay, size matters here. I think it's a pretty good example. But yes, size matters here is a pretty good example. I think there's two force vehicles with a jetpack and a Tesseract. Yes, thruster jetpacks and the Tesseracts. I think those are both force vehicles, so having custom versions of those could give you a quite huge advantage. So you just gotta look at each and every race, basically figure out like what vehicles you have custom, which you don't. See which ones are worth your time, which ones aren't. All depends on like each and every individual player. Me personally, I do own all the transform racing vehicles. So if you know which vehicles to buy and you own them all, then you're basically set for any transform race, and therefore you can get the most advantage of this money opportunity. So you'll probably go against all different kinds of skill levels in these races compared to the other races, because not everybody's going to necessarily be the most familiar with each vehicle in each race. So you can take advantage of that. So it can be some of the easiest races you can win actually because of that. Is essentially what I'm saying. No, I think before Colonel Enterprise of like 50% boost or something, I think it was like $16,000 for 2 times or something. I want to say 3 times, like after Colonel Enterprise and stuff, like for max time race, like 8-10 minutes, I think is the max to get paid on a race or something. I think it's 8 to 10 minutes on a race for max payout. Maybe you can get like 30,000 solo, like on a max payout. Pretty nice. If you purposely stall in a race or do enough laps to get the max time or something that you get paid for. Or of course it can go against other players, which on transform races isn't necessarily the worst thing ever, since again, if you're the most skilled of like what vehicles are like in each race, then you'll have quite the advantage compared to everybody else. So they're actually kind of the best races you could have on a money opportunity, actually. Because you have to be quite knowledgeable on like what's in what race, and not everybody's going to be the most knowledgeable on that. So it definitely can make them a lot easier to win in other races when it comes to facing off against other players. And yeah, from there I just want to go over remaining discounts and all that. So I'll just show this real quick. I think it's the same thing again from before, from like the last event. One of those repeat things, just like the flight school that they did the last event. Yeah, okay, that's definitely the same price it was the last event as well, yes. All renovations are 20 as well. So only the essential stuff, that's like 2 million on like the cheapest one right now at 20% off. 20% is not a very good hanger discount. There's been much better hanger discounts. The reason it's so like cheap right now for the discount, the reason discounts aren't so good right now on it is because it's going to be used in the next update and want you to be able to get it for like half off before a huge DLC that uses the hanger. Makes sense. Makes sense that would be that way. But yeah, it was the thing from last week as well, so I'm not going into any more stuff there. There's a repeat discount for vehicle, it looks like, from last event as well. Maybe a little previous than other ones. I want to get all the repeat discounts from like last event done first. Pyro, I believe, was a 20% discount last time as well, so Pyro still looks to be on a very minimal discount here. Again, this is the discount price on a trade price for 2,680,000. Very damn good plane. It's one of the fastest like planes jets in the entire game. It's only like 2-seater jet in the game. There's definitely quite a nice advantage as I mentioned before. And aside for that, there's like 4 other vehicle discounts that were not part of the previous event that I want to go more in detail with. I'll go in the website order. Okay, I want to say elitist stuff should be first here. Wait, or actually, Benny's might have the classic custom, right? I think Benny's will have the first discount this time. And yeah, it's the custom one, not the regular one, so it wouldn't be shown on the website itself. Besides for this little customized example here, this price is the regular one, you're getting the custom upgrade price discount now. So, Bravado Gauntlet Classic Custom muscle car custom upgrade price here will be 40% off. Whatever price it is normally will be 40% off. For performance for the custom version here, I believe it's actually pretty good for top speed is what I remember on this one. But yes, going off from roughly 1322 spreadsheet, racing YouTuber spreadsheet here. In the muscle car class, Gauntlet Classic Custom is at the very bottom of D tier. And that might sound bad at first, but that's because it's mostly based on lap time. D tier gives it a 28th place for lap time, and then it is number 6 top speed apparently. So it is top 10 in top speed at the number 6 spot apparently. I believe since there's no HSW and there's 2 HSW muscle cars, it like jumps up to 4th place top speed on like 8th gen as well. So you're getting like top 5 top speed on 8th gen, and then top 10 top speed on 9th gen. Very good. Can be good in the right circumstances. And then it's a Benny's vehicle, so you get fuck tons of customization too, which is quite the crazy bonus. One of the most one of the most customizable vehicles in the entire game. Should be 2 on Elite this year. Yes. Canada and then the Alpha Z1. Unfortunately, these are both not weaponized options at all. But yes. Starting off with the Canada here, on a trade price instead of $1,847,500 is $1,286,250. So you're getting like 500 and like 50,000 off around there, a little more than that, I think. But yes. Canada, unfortunately, is not going to be the most worthwhile thing. As I've mentioned already, it's not weaponized at all, because I was kind of discussing it when going over the cleanup Agent ELP mission, for the ELP missions. But yes, the very cool thing about it is it has no tail rotor, instead it has that like system called a NOTAR. NOTAR basically like has like the tail rotor features in the actual like, tail, and not as an actual tail rotor, which is pretty fucking cool. So it gets rid of the weakness of being able to get like shot with like the tail rotor there. Because on other like helicopters, you might be able to like shoot the tail rotor with like an explosive sniper, and that basically like renders it unusable, and it gets it destroyed pretty easily. So yeah, having no like exposed tail rotor is definitely quite a nice advantage compared to the other aircrafts. And then aside from that, we'll go over performance for it here since it's not weaponized. But yes, going off of Bruffy 132 spreadsheet, Canada is at the very top of the helicopter class. Giving it number 1 for lap time, number 1 lap time, and number 3 for top speed. Now, usually you want lap time over top speed, but air vehicles, I think you usually do want top speed over lap time though. Air vehicles don't mainly want for point A to point B travel. You don't have to worry about roads and stuff. You get all kinds of movement freedom and stuff compared to like with a car. So number 1 lap time gives it the best cornering of any helicopter. Top 3 top speed is very nice, definitely. But if it was the number 1 top speed instead, and like number 3 lap time would be like a bit better performance wise. But yeah. This might not be too worth getting, unfortunately, no, especially with the next update, because it looks like there's a weaponized version of this coming out. And knowing Rockstar, it'll probably be a whole different model of vehicle. They probably won't let you do the old Canada. They probably won't have like weapon upgrades for the old Canada. It will probably be like a whole new vehicle model, a whole new price and everything. It'll probably be a new like weaponized Canada. It will probably be like a new entry on the website. It will probably be a higher price and stuff. The Canada is probably not honestly too worth picking up right now just because of the weaponized one coming out. There's wait for a weaponized one or whatever, I would say, easily. Another reason it's not too worth getting, we still don't technically know if there's going to be more aircraft slots or not. You would think realistically, since it's a very aircraft heavy update, that they would increase the hangar space. But they've never increased hangar space before, and they've never confirmed so far in this update if they're going to be increasing the hangar space. So that's kind of another reason not to get it, since it's not weaponized. Well, going into that too. And then the Alpha Z1 here. Again, it's one of those like ones that you have to store in hangars, such as like Smuggler Run Onward is one of the Smuggler Run Onward aircrafts that can only be stored in a hangar and is not exist whatsoever. Therefore, it has to use one of your 20 hangar slots, and it's not weaponized, so therefore it's not usually going to be too worth to keep it per se. It's not necessarily the most worthy of your 20 hangar slots, especially if they don't increase it with the next update. Again, there's no confirmation that they are doing that. So if they don't increase the hangar space, and there's a new like stealth jet coming in the game with weapons, you can store the Avenger in the hangar now if you want. If they don't increase the hangar slots, I'm afraid the Alpha Z1 is not going to be too worth keeping anymore. But yeah, going off of roughly 152 spreadsheet for plane class Alpha Z1, just like the Canada, number 1 on lap time for the plane class. And then it's number 6 top speed for the plane class. So performance-wise, number-wise, it's basically a lesser like Canada essentially in terms of top speed in particular. Again, for planes and like helicopters, you mainly actually want the top speed since you don't have like all kinds of roads and like buildings and stuff. You have all kinds of freedom in the air in terms of your movement and stuff, so you more so want top speed. Of course, a lot of times for quarrying and stuff can be good for like air races. Seems like Canada does can actually be pretty damn nice for air races with a lot of cornering maybe. But usually on those, you'll actually want the top speed. And yeah, this one has quite the like versatile movements and stuff. I could probably do with like just handling upgrades and stuff for a plane for sure. I feel between this and the Canada, I would probably choose the Canada over that, honestly. Only if there wasn't a new weaponized version coming out. So actually, because there is a new weaponized version coming out, I would actually probably choose this over that if you only had to choose one. If you could only choose one, I would probably do this instead of this. And the rest is non discount, just regular stuff there. And the last one, I think, looks to be on a legendary. And that will be a contract DLC vehicle with SUV. I think it might be 4-door, okay, yes. And that is going to be the regular P-Fister Astron. Not the better one in 9th gen, unfortunately. So basically, it's only going to be super good in 8th gen, I would say. So, going off a roughly 152 spreadsheet for the SUV class. I don't think this one's as good as the Novik, if I recall, so it's not going to be as good as that discount at the Reba work, at the Premium Deluxe Motorsport, I mean. Okay, yeah, it's basically underneath the Novik, essentially. Novik was number 3 lap time, on 9th gen at least. Astron is like number 4 for lap time for the regular one. Number 5 top speed for the regular one. Probably moves down to like the number 5 spot on like 9th gen with the HSWC Rally though. And therefore top speed would become like number 6 because of Izzy Rally HSW. So I think its top speed is more like within top 10 even for the 9th gen version in particular. But yeah. 8th gen I think it's like number 3 for lap time for 8th gen where you don't have to ask for custom HSW for the custom one. And maybe like 4th place instead of 5th place for top speed then on this for Avenger. But yeah. As you can see in featured 9th gen only, get the PFIS or Astron Custom and it has HSW upgrades as well. So you don't really want that in 9th gen since there's a better one anyways. So 8th gen only I say for sure. Get HSW Astron Custom for 9th easily for 9th gen. God damn, so I'm ended up doing a 3-hour stream here. Damn. I don't know. I don't know if I was almost slower with it than usual or what. I don't know. Maybe my throat's just pure shit, and that's why. It's not a good time for just to be time traveling. Damn it, it's pretty much at nighttime. Oh well. Still going for it anyways. Very last of the HSW time travel, once that one's done, it will loop back to the very first one. So it should be my very last HSW time travel I'm having to do with the HSW Devastate 8. Once I do that, then I can move on to a different vehicle. Ah, come on, really? Next for a vehicle now? Fine. Why the fuck not? Maybe the time can get a bit better for the HSW time travel if I do it then. But yeah, Class A Vamos. Definitely believe this one's a muscle car from the Arena Warrior DLC. Okay, there's a street dealer there if I want to check that out, if I remember afterward. We had a Class A Mama, not Mamos, whatever, fuck. Class A Vamos. Muscle car, I believe, from the Arena War DLC. People don't like the advanced handling flags, and this one apparently does not perform that great. God damn, if it would have movements, they're supposed to head in on the like left and right movements. It feels kind of weird to drive for sure, yeah. Yeah, balance is high on a grill and shit. So probably not too worthwhile of one to pick up, probably not. So I do like to talk a little bit about each vehicle and from the export thing I managed to find on a stream. Might as well talk about the vehicle I'm driving, right? Probably. If I find it on the street for an export. Oh my god, Jesus Christ. Now the Obama's, now the shit Obama's handling finally caught me real bad there, apparently. So it's just one of his rogue vehicles, so it's actually like the next export vehicle. So I think if you're already in one, you can find another one. Yeah, it does have to be another one, actually. Huh. Might actually be that Karen Camacho, actually. Or not Karen, but Miss Camacho, I mean, from the Freedom Dogs Motorsport, actually. But I'll probably retire now, fuck it. See, what's my stuff looking like for the arcade and all that kind of stuff right now? Like, I don't know if I see anything. Okay, technology was in 4,000, it's nowhere near that.
You need something, huh? One of your rides? Let me know. It's on the way.
Yeah, that's what I'm using for the HSW time trial. If I didn't make it the most clear. I think it's the last. It's actually the very last, like, one I'll need to do with this. Actually, maybe the last HSW time trial with the 8 and whatever they have available. Alright, yeah, that's taking us to Camacho. That's in the Ram Dogs Motorsport right now. I thought so. Sure. Yeah, definitely quite the nice off-road vehicle. It's actually a pretty budget option as well. It's actually pretty budget, being like 250-ish, like 1,000 or some shit. If I remember, it's not to be terribly expensive at all. But yeah, but yeah, people claim it's pretty damn good and shit. I don't doubt that. I didn't look at the exact numbers since it wasn't on discount clearly, say, lately. But it's definitely pretty good performance, from what I recall. It's one of the better off-road vehicles, apparently. And yeah, people already like found a location apparently of like that new like Vinewood car club, whatever the fuck. I think, from what I recall hearing, but yeah, I'm gonna give attention to that aside for the little small bits I mentioned. When I have nothing else better to mention or anything. all those export vehicles, I might actually get to 51 million here actually on the just heavy time trial. Goddamn no, I don't know why I've been streaming all lately, no, goddamn no. I haven't, I don't know. I've been having a hell of a grind, like 2 phone games and shit lately. I've been hell of a grinding 2 phone games lately. One of the phone games I play, Pokemon Go and shit, I just lately got to like rank 20 for like fucking legendaries and battle league now, so I think I'm fucking done with that one for a bit. And I fucking played the fuck out like Marker Thor and shit. There's like a new course aiming and do for a day, and that's like an hour to 2 hours for one course, I feel. Or like evergreen talking there, I suppose. And I have to make a couple videos again lately with news wires and shit. I make pretty detailed descriptions and shit, so it takes me a while. I'm not the greatest at video making and shit. I feel I kind of stumble and shit and don't know what to say and shit, so definitely takes me a long as while and shit. And I like triple check everything I type in the description, make sure everything seems correct and shit. So yeah, first almost 2 weeks of June have definitely been pretty hectic, I feel. Sure. Unfortunately. I forget if there's ever street dealers popping up or not, or probably not, I don't know. Try to see if I can find that one street dealer again, maybe. There's most definitely in this one. Going under here, yeah. Weed. Yeah, honestly, I might not actually, since that might be about to actually sell business stuff actually. Since the new update's around the corner, I'll probably be selling business stuff, only being like a couple days away now. Last time I did that more as an excuse to let some more time pass. I mean, it's more like proper daytime by the time I do HSW time trial. I've been a little of an excuse for that. Get agencies that want to just 6,000, I was wondering on that especially. Everything's looking pretty good here in the sky, cool. And yeah, this is like the most top speed heavy supercar, and it's probably especially good for the time trial here. It just so time trial is a pretty highway heavy one, if I recall, at one point at least. Yeah. If I remember right, GPS routes are actually pretty good on here. I think I have tried alternatives, but none of the alternatives really tend to actually be much, really. If I remember correctly. Or like if I did alternatives, they only really worked great in a drag, if I recall. I think any regular vehicle is not too much of a shortcut from regular vehicles, if I recall. Yes. I mean, this one's pretty much just GPS route for any like proper car, really. Anything but the drag, really. Yeah, I did not start the greenest room. But I will just keep playing that way. So maybe just stream, whatever. Oh well. Might be fun. Oh shit, not good, not good. Probably have to restart that, really? That was fucking bullshit. You don't flip over like that. Maybe because this one's more top speed oriented now. For supercar class. A crazier class it is in the game. Overall. So yeah, I like that part better, I think that is. Okay, that one actually went better. I'm a bit surprised. I felt like I was almost gonna fuck up again. Alright, made these parts now. Cool. Oh shit. Yeah. Oh, I'm actually surprised I didn't crash much there. Okay, man, just squeeze between rock and the tar there. Good, good. Actually going much better than I thought at this point. I was for sure about to crash and shit. Very good amounts of straights, let's fucking go. Oh shit. Okay, I think it's definitely going pretty nicely, I think, so far. Probably be ready to handbrake here shit at some point. Oh shit. I might not went as good as expected there, no. But still, things have been very good aside for that, I would say, so should probably be pretty fun. stretch here, pretty much. Oh shit. Glad I didn't hit the sign. I could kind of fuck me a tiny tad at least. For all I know. Oh shit. Oh fuck. Slow down a bit there. I did a little jump off here. I feel it's a little essential. Oh, God. Please. Yes. Good. Okay, first true try there. Let's go. So that's probably a couple that fucked up very early on. Or within first minute, actually. I guess two technically. For more proper tries. Record shipments maxed out, apparently. Okay. Good. Look at my nightclub's getting pretty prepped for the end of the drug wars. Drip feed and stuff here. Alright, 51,050,642, cool. But yes, that is definitely gonna be it for this event week. More like event weekend stream here, I feel. I do think I'm actually gonna plan a miscellaneous stream where I do like this casino story missions solo, especially when they're doing majority of dispatch services as a solo thing now for the San Andreas Mercenaries DLC. So I think I want to do a stream where I do the casino story missions, but solo since that's been possible as a drug wars. And I think I should be all done with drug wars streams from that point on. So I think that will finally be it for this stream though. Hope you enjoyed. Or not yet actually. Again, a reminder. Time trials, at least the regular ones, are becoming daily, it sounds like. They said daily time trials. Either it could be its own set of time trials, and daily time trials could be its own thing. Or perhaps that's just regular time trials at least become daily. Maybe yours to be in data would be in the same payout. HSW would be pretty overpowered if it holds daily news, I'm not sure about that. So I don't know if I need to focus too much on time trials after once San Andreas Mercenaries comes out, by the way. So things might not be as time trial heavy anymore, which could be kinda good. Could maybe not. But that will finally be it for the stream. For a couple more interesting things I can say there, whatever the fuck all. Hope you enjoyed.